Got it.
Got it.
Yes, we are here. Hello, Dune Jewelry community, and welcome to Kitchen Table Talks. As a lot of you know, we have been celebrating not just Giving Day last Tuesday, but a whole entire Giving Week. Dune Jewelry over the past 11 years has donated almost $170,000 to different charities and nonprofit organizations. And this year, we are so excited to have partnered with Unite for Her, which is just a beautiful organization that really gives back and helps women that are dealing with breast and ovarian cancer, which is a cause that I know is near and dear to my heart and near and dear to a lot of people. Unfortunately, I know a lot of us out there know someone or are someone that is dealing with breast and ovarian cancers, and Unite for Her has done such a beautiful job over the year offering really holistic and practical services for women in need. So this past week, we've been donating 15% of every single purchase on dunejewelry.com to this organization. And today is the last day to get your orders in and support this organization. And because Dune just doesn't stop there, we're also giving you a free ornament with purchases over $125. This ornament's beautiful. I unfortunately don't have one on me, but I have a picture to show all of you. Where is it? There it is. And this ornament is filled with mother of pearl, which is a beautiful element set made to promote protection, healing, all of that good stuff. And that's yours with a purchase of $125 plus free shipping. We are so excited to offer this to you. And I'm joined by Sue here today, who is the founder of Unite for Her. We're going to be talking to her, but also stay tuned because starting tomorrow through December 15th, we're inviting you to tag someone you might know who is dealing with breast and ovarian cancer to be entered to win one of their beautiful care packages, along with a Serenity necklace customized by us here at Dune Jewelry. Sue, welcome. It's so nice to have you here today.
Oh, thank you. And what a beautiful introduction. You do that very well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Very heartfelt.
Years of practice, but also it's easy to be heartfelt when you're talking about you and your organization. Can you tell us, Sue, how you got started with Unite for Her?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Well, it really is out of my own experience. I'm a survivor, 17 years, diagnosed as a young woman. And I was really looking for a way to bridge that gap. There was so much side effects and symptoms that occurred from the treatment itself that we hear people talk about. It's debilitating. It does bring you down to your knees. And it's what, unfortunately is the standard of care. And when I was sick, I was just having hot flashes, bone pain, neuropathy, headaches, depression, anxiety, just wondering if I was going to be there for my children. And they were about 6, 10, and 12 at the time. And it's a lot, and at that time, I ended up diving into integrative therapies, think supported treatments, complementary therapies that started mitigating those side effects and symptoms. It started to make a difference. It started to give me my confidence back. It started alleviating the side effects from the nausea to the bone pain to the hot flashes. Acupuncture was definitely, one of the things that I used most often. I did about 36 treatments a year. I was diagnosed 12 at a time, and then you take a break and then you do 12 again. It's usually like 2 every week. And it was amazing what it did for my whole entire emotional and physical well-being. One of them being, when you're a young woman and you're forced into menopause during chemotherapy, acupuncture was able to bring me out. I wanted to have more children. And it was a long haul, it was over a year, 2 years, but the fact that it allowed me to get that confidence back, to take my hot flashes from 21 down to, 9 a day, headaches, bone pain, depression. That was huge. And, it cost a lot of money though, it wasn't covered by insurance. And I'll never forget the day that, I was about a year out and I was at an event, and it was in Philadelphia. It was on the Art Museum steps. And I always tell the story, and I swear, I wish I knew this woman's name. She's in every one of my stories. And she was young, and her hair was out. Mine's just coming back in. And I just felt like I was going to go up there and tool her with all of these great, treatments that I was able to take advantage of, and empowered me. So I did, and told her, I was where you were a year ago. And I shared everything that I did, the yoga, the whole food nutrition, and the acupuncture. And she just started crying. She's like, oh, good for you. I could never afford all that. And that was the gap. That's when I went home, and I'm like, all right, honey, I'm going to start a nonprofit. Not quite sure what it looks like. We're all going to work for free for a while. We're going to have to build a board. They're all going to be smarter than I am. And then we're going to gather those skill sets and form Unite for Her. I knew the talent that I had in certain fields. I was a gymnastics coach. I could put together a dynamic team. I was in sales, so I can ask anybody for anything. And not afraid of a lot of hard work and a lot of passion. So Unite for Her was formed in 2009. And since then, we have been able to serve well over 10,000 women and men, because men do get breast cancer, with $2,000 of integrative therapies, complementary therapies. And they have a passport. It actually looks like this, this passport of services. And, where are they going to go on that passport? They get to pick and choose whatever they want. They might choose oncology massage. They might choose supportive yoga. They may choose the acupuncture. They may choose the nutrition, where you get to meet our dynamic Erin today, and shop with Erin, and go on a grocery tour and learn how food is so healing. And food was my wheelhouse. I switched my entire diet, and not to say vegan or vegetarian or, I was plant-based forward. But to have that knowledge took time. It took a lot of effort. I feel like it is something that it is the best gift that we can give, because we're teaching women how to change their lifestyle one step at a time, but we're also funding and delivering it. And that's what Dune Jewelry is doing for us, is helping us fund and deliver more integrative therapies. And we're most grateful. We are most grateful. So, the integrative care program, the wellness program, we call it, it all starts by getting shipped right to your home via her care box. We did that shift during the pandemic. That was key for us. We had to figure out a way to serve during a time when women are getting diagnosed and men are getting diagnosed, and cancer did not stop during the pandemic, and neither was Unite for Her. So we changed our whole entire model, and we ended up doing everything that we could deliver right to the home, or virtual, the way we're talking now. And it worked. It resonated. Right? It resonated. And women were getting their counseling sessions like this. They were doing yoga like this. They were doing, nutrition, cooking with Erin, and, shopping, and just, it became a win that we could actually treat our women this way. So when that ended up being in effect, they would still get their $2,000 worth of treatments. They would get a conference that they would log in on to learn about all the different modalities, so they know how to use them. It's so important, that education. What's going to work for one may not work for another. That's why we give our women choice, everything from a fitness membership to a CSA share to a Sunbasket meal delivery, right? Like, you decide which path you're going to go to help not only you, but the whole family. But we also knew that we could offer at-home services in the comfort of their home to protect them. And since doing that, last year we actually served about 1,900 newly diagnosed men and women, and 500 within that living with metastatic disease. And that means that, they will always be on treatment. They will not have a cure. And we recognize that it's a different cancer, right? And we want to be there for them. So we always renew this passport for them every 6 months to make sure that they are getting access to the quality care that they need to bridge that gap, to help with the side effects, to help them stay on their therapies, to give them better quality of life. There's just so much that the program offers. And I can't say enough about how we feel as a team, and we put our heads down on the pillow every night, that we've just served, an incredible service to the women of Unite for Her, knowing that we've been able to give them this gift of care that keeps giving. So we're grateful to Dune Jewelry for choosing us, because, everybody who learns about us and knows our mission, it's so hands-on, it's so boots on the ground. they end up leaning in, and our volunteers are the women that we have. We do a Spanish speaking only wellness day, and there are women. So, we just love to grow that Unite for Her family. And today is an opportunity for us to do that. So thank you for having us.
Yeah, all of that is so incredible. I love hearing all these stories. Now, I'm just thinking, like, as a woman, I might come in, or anyone really, because you made a great point that men do suffer from breast cancer too. It's just not often talked about. As someone coming on and getting being onboarded into Unite for Her, do you guys sort of guide and help someone figure out what services might be best for them? Because I'm thinking, like, I might be just completely overwhelmed and not know where to start.
You got it. Yeah, absolutely. That is the whole point of the conference, the virtual conference that we have. We have several a month, and that guides them. It's a perfect word that you use, because we have an incredible dynamic wellness team, and they're made up of wellness day managers. We call them our wellness concierge, but it walks them through, why would I want to do acupuncture? I'm having hot flashes. I'm having depression. I have bone pain. I can't eat well, having trouble with, anxiety. I can't sleep at night. Some people might choose yoga because that speaks to them. And we're not talking about the yoga. You pull your foot up over your head and wear those cute pants, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about the yoga. That's the power of breath, right? And gets the negative chatter out of the mind. I used a lot of yoga. And because there was a lot of negative chatter in my head all the time, just beating me down. These therapies bring you up, right? So some people might do yoga, some might go massage, some might do counseling, some might do the acupuncture, some might do the nutrition because it brings them joy and they feel empowerment from the food choices that they're making, because we all know food is healing. You're going to learn that today, right? Your herbs and spices were our medicine cabinet of the years past, and to get back to that. But they all approach it differently, but they might have the same outcome. So that's why it's a unique wellness plan for you. And we teach you how to get that, whether it's videos, whether it's being a part of our social media, or jumping on our virtual conferences, our speaker series we have once a month. We have an Ask the Expert that Erin hosts for us. Just dynamic, thoughtful conversations that's front of mind, so that we can make sure that we are serving in a way that is really answering the needs, getting facts forward to help them, manage their care plan. And it's just so valuable. So we do take them every step of the way, hands down.
It sounds like you're building such a lovely, it's not even just the services, you just seem to have a lovely community. Do you find that the people that are going through Unite for Her tend to find friendships, and is there like a community group of all these people that come together all the time?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. I mean, we always say the Unite for Her family, and if you pour a lot of love and support into someone or something, it's bound to flourish. And that's our Unite for Her. I mean, we truly give this out of our hearts, this love of the organization, of what we do, of our mission. And when I say that, like, there's 18 of us, we're small staff, I think 6 of us are part-time, 2 of us are volunteers, and they pour a lot of love, and that all shows. And then the women feel that, and then they join, and they don't realize that they are coming together. They might be coming to pack our care boxes because that's how we deliver our mission now. And I'll go through that, but they don't realize that they're coming together to do that. Sorry about my friend there. They end up coming, and then you can just hear the connection and the talking, or they'll volunteer at our 5K or our Pink Invitational, or they'll walk in our fashion show, or we call them love notes. They'll send us love notes, and they truly do, like these beautiful notes. Like, thank you. You just made my day. You empowered me. And I wake up differently now because of Unite for Her, because I know I have an organization I can rely on and get services from without any emotional or financial burden. And that just fills us up,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Starting a nonprofit organization like this is an incredible feat in general. What would you say was the hardest thing or most surprising thing about starting this organization?
Hardest or surprising? A lot, right? I'm learning every day. I am
Yeah.
learning every day. And I'm so fortunate I have a staff that learns with me. And and we just are able to collaborate in such a beautiful way. But I know that the more I empower my staff to take off my plate, right, what I had put on my plate and was doing, like I was in every part of the Unite for Her, right? Every part, I knew all of it, right? Well, that's not good. That's not going to survive beyond me. And that is not what we want Unite for Her to be. I need, that's my life's work. And I have an incredible, talented staff that can do my job, if not better, right? So empower them to go and do those different areas. And then that allows us to grow. So last year we served 1,900, right? This year, 2,900, right? So, the fact that you can, let go, as that leader and trust the staff, the volunteers, the community that surrounds you. And of course, with good direction and strategy and all those thoughtful steps. But that has been a huge, work in progress. We're 12 years old now. And something I'm so proud of, because I truly love my staff. And it feels so good when I see them thriving and seeing Unite for Her thriving and seeing them do what they love. And I always joke, I'm like, I want your job. I love your job, And usually it's Erin's job. I want your job. I love that job.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just such a great advice in general. I know I myself and a lot of people out there, delegation is such a hard thing to let go of and do.
Yeah. And I was a woman that controlled everything in my life, until cancer hit. And then all of a sudden I'm like, what? I can't control this. What the heck? I just felt like I was the fixer. I was the, problem solver. And I learned a lot that I just can't fix everything. I just have to learn to love, and just all I can do is love and put my best intentions out, but it's nice when you have a staff that, supports you in the decisions that you make and, is there to give you that guidance as well. And that's what's so key about the growth of Unite for Her. And we see it happening, pretty rapidly, and during a pandemic, that's what's just so crazy is that our largest growth is happening at a time when, we had to make the biggest changes, but sometimes change is good. Change is powerful. Change has opportunity. Adversity, opportunity comes from adversity. And it allowed us to think differently and polish up on some skill sets that we didn't know we had, and that's good, right? And it challenges us in a way that's so valuable because our women, they're our why. They're the ones that we do everything we do is them front and center. We'll have like a mission moment, we'll put that in front of our staff and board a lot. And because we get these beautiful love notes. And today I got a note, and I kid you not, Erin could say it was in my email. And it was just the smallest, kindest, most beautiful. I'll tear up saying it. But it was just like, good morning, Sue. I love you. That's all. And I love Unite for Her. That's all I wanted to say. That was it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like that just made me like go that much further, with this passion and drive to serve. And our women continue to lift us up. So, I feel very blessed and fortunate every day, especially when it comes out of something that was so tragic. And I know that not all of us are, in that position. So to have that empathy, to know that, there's a lot of us that just can't find that joy, and it's difficult. And we're here for them. We're here for them because we do understand. Yeah, it's not. Cancer isn't a gift. We hear people say they come out of it with a new perspective and and that's true. That is true. It's a lot of soul searching, but I always say I just can't underestimate how hard that is for those that have such struggles, and how lucky I was. And I always try and say it was my best teacher. It was my best teacher, and that is how I frame it because I learned so much.
Yeah. Absolutely. Having learned so much by going through it yourself and hearing almost 3,000 plus different stories, is there anything, if there's someone out there watching that may have just got diagnosed or know someone that got diagnosed, is there like a overarching piece of advice that you could give to someone?
Yeah, use your resources. You know, sometimes as women, we tend to feel like we have to, like, I don't know, silently handle it ourselves or not be a burden, or, you know, like, use your resources. Women are incredible together. And we have valuable resources. The fact that we can serve anywhere in the nation now, if you know somebody diagnosed, uniteforher.org, you know, and you can email us at info@uniteforher.org, and we will take care of you. And so much so, take care of you within weeks. Like, you will be in our program and ready to go and receive your care box and be ready to get that, passport of $2,000 worth of services. Right. So, don't be afraid to reach out and share. I know not everybody is a sharer, for sure. I know I held a lot close to my heart, because I just wasn't Sue anymore. I was the young girl with cancer that everybody thought, how did she get that? Right. Like, it was constant. Even 5 years out, people would say, oh, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in so long. And I knew what that meant. I knew what the how are you doing meant. It meant, are you still cancer free? Are you, right? Like, it's just where we are. So I feel like, to be able to surround yourself and give yourself tools and give yourself permission to let go, and use the resources that surround you, and filter information. You'll get a lot of it. Some won't work for you. That's okay. And any feeling that you have is the right feeling, any feeling, because when you're diagnosed, that is a trauma, and you have to learn to grow through that trauma. But you can't learn to go through that trauma unless you identify that it is okay, and be gentle on yourself and know that that is a normal feeling. Some people handle a diagnosis with a lot of, bravery and strength. And it wasn't me, it wasn't me, right? Like, whatever you feel, whatever emotion you have to connect to that diagnosis, it's okay. And be gentle on yourself, and don't give yourself judgment. If you have bad days, it's okay. If you're short, it's okay. You're going through a tough time. And then each day will get better when you get tools, because the tools will give you confidence back. And the confidence gives you control back, because you lost control, right? You lost control in your life. You thought you had it all, right? I didn't feel sick when I was diagnosed, but I was, right? I had a tough year. The year prior, I had a tough year, and I didn't recognize it, and so it taught me a lot to watch for, but yeah, just, use your resources. Don't be hard on yourself, no judgment, and reach out to us, because there was a time before the pandemic, we couldn't always say that we could treat everywhere in the nation, right? Like, we were in PA, New Jersey, Delaware. Now we can go anywhere, and what a gift that we can bring this, complimentary care, a passport of $2,000 worth of services, to you, to your doorstep, right? Virtually, which, I can feel your energy totally, right? Like, I can feel it through the screen. It works. It might not be the same, hugging and, wait until you guys get this mocktail. You're going to be like, you're going to be feeling Erin's energy for sure, but it works, right? Like, it works. And we make the best of a situation that we're in, but we also inform some really beautiful relationships. And you guys are one of them. So thanks for having us, and thanks for choosing us and doing a beautiful website. I have our website up here, and it's just lovely. Like, I look at that and just makes me happy. Yeah.
Well, talking about feeling energy through a screen, I am so warm with your love and support right now. Like, I want to give you a hug. It just truly is incredible what you've done for not only yourself, but forming Unite for Her and helping everyone. And just as a reminder, if you're jumping on now, if you're catching what Sue has been talking about, today is the last day of our giving week, where 15% of net proceeds of every single purchase on dunejewelry.com will go to support this amazing organization that helps people all over dealing with breast and ovarian cancers. And I know you've probably heard Sue just talk about how you need to learn how to ask for help, and it's a hard thing to do. But if you're out there listening and know someone that may have just been diagnosed, or really is sort of lost in their own journey. Starting tomorrow, if you go to Dune Jewelry's Instagram and Facebook, I almost said Twitter, but that's not correct. If you go to Dune Jewelry's Instagram and Facebook, you can tag that person that might be dealing with something, and they'll be entered to win the wellness box from Unite for Her, plus a Serenity necklace from Dune Jewelry. Sue, do you want to tell us a little bit more about this box?
Yeah, of course. All right, I have it here. I'd have to shift my screen all around, so I'll just bring up the items. But I think I could probably shift a little bit that you can see the care box.
Yeah.
Right? So that's your care box. It's a gift of care. We basically put the conference in the box. One of the items that is so key, and Erin leads this part of our nutrition program, is the Cancer Fighting Kitchen Cookbook. It is a book I used when I was sick. It was called One Bite at a Time. They did a second version, Maureen did, and Rebecca, God, why did I say Maureen? Rebecca Katz did. And the first 40 pages is just filled with so much information about how food is your medicine, how you can look at the properties and the ingredients of food and know what it does to your, well-being, to your system, to help you with side effects and symptoms, emotionally and physically. And that's where Erin and Michelle, our nutrition team, just shine, because they can teach others that love of whole food nutrition. But it helps you understand, your side effects and symptoms, the metallic taste in your mouth and the cardboard. And what do I do when something tastes like cardboard and I can't get the energy in? And then it also has incredible recipes, and they're beautiful and, just filled with lovely photos that just keep you wanting more, So that is one of them that we have. And then we have Jolene Hart, who is our beauty advisor. This is Ignite Your Light. She is dynamic inside and out. And Jolene has been our advisor for well over 8 years. This is her 4th book. She has the Eat Pretty Every Day series, which is really, talking about how to manage that health and beauty routine so that and can read labels and understand toxins that are in the things that we put on our skin and in our, on our bodies. Our skin absorbs 60% faster than food. Right. So we can't overlook that. And knowledge is power. But she also goes through just understanding how the energy in this particular book of how the energy of the day, the light, the timing, the seasons all affect us and how we can work one with it. So it's a lovely book. And then we also have like a guide, a beauty guide that actually teaches you how to understand, how to read labels. And you don't need to be a biologist to read those labels that are on some of these bottles. You turn your shampoo over and then all of a sudden you just are like, there's the ingredients and what is in there. And, from your toothpaste to your, so there's a whole beautiful guide on how to actually understand to read the labels. We have healing tea. It's from our friends from TCAN. So they donate to us, which is lovely. And the healing tea is so key because it's important for us to know how food is our medicine. Tea can be incredible nutrient dense, type of beverage. Of course, we give you a little Yeti type cup. We have Acure beauty products. Acure is, what an incredible trusted partner of ours. And when I say partner in every sense of the word, they have been with us 9 years, right? They have been so supportive, so generous. This goes hand in hand with our whole nutrition, our whole beauty program. But to be able to give you the products so you don't have to go out and spend money to buy them, they give us about $40, $50 worth of products, $60 worth of products in this box. But they donate to us. And the fact that they can give you a product that is so clean and just helps you understand how to make choices and use less. Less is sometimes better, it's just like the old saying, like when they put on that shampoo bottle, I'll go back to that. And they're like, lather, rinse. And then what do they say? Repeat. You don't need to repeat, right? You're just going to use more of it. So then you'll buy another bottle. So it's just learning and changing your habits. Good, clean, fun, good, clean, love, fun, love, same thing. Little slip there. And you got more tea. And then we have calendula salve that is from Lancaster Farm Fresh. This healing salve is made of olive oil, beeswax, the calendula flower. But this is key to mouth, those chapped lips and the finger splits. And there's a lot of side effects that come from the different treatments that our women are on. We always say this is like a miracle salve. Radiation burns, right, is another one. So for us, like, that's so good to be able to have a product that's trusted and chemical free, because those radiation burns are really difficult and it's soothing. So this will last you like a year. I mean, it will last you a long time. You don't need much. I'm digging in our box. We have our beauty bag, which is our makeup bag, to put all your goodies in. And then of course the passport of services. And that is $2,000 worth of treatments. And inside there, then you end up going on your wellness journey. You decide whether you're going to use, massage, yoga, Reiki, depending on the area that you're in. Because all of our programming nationally is delivered to your home or done virtually. But if you're in the local area to us, which is Philadelphia, New Jersey, PA, you can do in person. So there's a couple different options there. But fitness membership, grocery card, right? Some basket meal delivery, counseling, you pick and choose, and you get to create your own personal wellness plan. You also get access to our nutrition team. And when I say what a gift, like our nutrition team, actually, here's a cute little picture of them together. So fun. But our nutrition team, they're there 24/7. Like when I say they are there for you, you can email them, you can text them. I can't tell you how many times I would be talking to Michelle or Erin and I go, wait a minute, I'm just texting one of our women, and that's what they do because they're in the market and they had this grain and they took a picture of it and they're like, Erin, what's this? I don't know what this is. What could I do with this? And we answer and they answer, like, truly, we're there for you. And that's using your resources that they are not a bother. And it's all about now knowledge is power and just meeting them where they are, meeting them where they are and then educating them one step at a time. So all this goodness arrives right to your home. It's packed with love. We truly have extraordinary donors and sponsors. This one is actually, our metastatic community is sponsored by Daiichi Sankyo. We're so grateful to them and their team and the goodness that they give us, to allow us to serve, and because we have to raise every dollar. That's why we're so grateful to you. It's a lot, as a nonprofit. Some nonprofits are pass-through nonprofits and they get maybe government funding or they have endowment and they just do programming, right? Like their whole focus is on program, or they just do the fundraising and they give the money to another organization that does the programming. We do both. Right? We love doing both. But there are it's a lot. So, to have somebody that comes in and says, we're going to support you for a week and give you funding. I mean, it's just, it helps our team so much because we are a small team. So that is the wellness care box. We call it her care box. We have a his care box as well. Please, log in, let us know if you have somebody that you think would be of need. The value of that box is close to $200 just in the box itself. And then of course the value of the passport is $2,000. And that doesn't even tell you the value of the conference and the nutrition consults that are ongoing and, all the other services, the speaker series and the Ask the Experts. And, I was actually going to check in with Erin because I feel like we need to do another one on COVID and what the next variant is and how our women have to manage that, because there's a lot of information going out there, right? And we want facts forward. We're very thoughtful in this space. We are a thought leader in the space and our women come to us. So we have a dynamic professional advisory team that we lean on. So, they get all of that too. And we're here for them. So use your resources. So that's your her care box. Yeah.
I was writing names down,
Good.
writing products down.
Acure is amazing. I tell you what Acure does too. Acure gives all of our women 20% off for life. For life.
Wow.
I know. They're amazing. They're an amazing partner. I can't say enough about them, and good in their heart. They truly they just want to serve. And we are fortunate to have they were a national partner of ours when we weren't national. That says a lot, right? Like they believed in us and have grown with us from the beginning. And it just, it makes us really filled with joy that we can give back in such a way to just shout their name from the rooftop, because they're the real deal. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing all of the goodness that
You're
was in
welcome.
that box. And also, I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't thank Sheldon Bartlett Rumor for
Oh, I
introducing
know,
Julie
right?
to Unite for Her.
I
Thank you,
know.
Sheldon.
I know, Sheldon, if you're watching, talk about a woman with energy. Oh my gosh. She would
Woo.
just lift me up via Zoom. You know, we were going through that pandemic in the very beginning. I'm like, just had a great call with Sheldon. I just felt like I just had my girlfriend over, you know? Yeah,
Absolutely.
good energy.
Um, so make sure you check out Dune Jewelry's Facebook and Instagram page tomorrow to learn more about entering to win the wellness box. And I feel like both Sue and I have dropped Erin's name a couple of times here and talked about all of her nutrition goodness. Surprise, we are joined by Erin today, and she's going to walk us through a little holiday treat. Sue, do you want to give a little bit more of an intro to Erin before we let her start going?
Okay, my honor, and you are in for a treat. So, Erin, again, like I mentioned, some of these incredible partners of ours on staff for 8 years now, serving our women, being there right by their side, has an incredible background, you know, oncology driven, knowing, you know, that space, that clinical space of nutrition is so key because our women do have difficult questions that I cannot answer. And she is certainly an expert in the field, but has grown so much in this field to adapt and change and do the services that are so important for our women. So she is the lead on our nutrition team. She has a dynamic partner, Michelle, as well. And you'll see her on Instagram. You'll see her on Facebook. And we call her our own little influencer, our Unite for Her influencer. As she's cooking away, making her TikTok videos. I'm like, what are you making? How'd you do that? Always trying to understand. I'm like, okay, I'll just eat it. All right, Erin, let's go have some fun.
Thank you, Sue. Oh, there we go. Oh,
Welcome.
thank you. Oh, it's been so nice to listen to both of you chat. And I do want to say again, we're so thankful to be here and to have partners in people like Dune Jewelry and your company. And, you know, as we were talking before we went live, I was stalking your jewelry over the weekend to share. And hopefully my family's not watching because they may be getting some for Christmas because they're absolutely beautiful. So we're really excited to be here. And I'm excited to be here because any chance that I get to make a mocktail, especially in the middle of a week, I will take it. So we are making a holiday mocktail. But before I get into that, I just want to go over a little bit just about our nutrition program, because it is really a pillar of what we do at Unite for Her. And like Sue said, you know, I've been with the organization for 8 years, and seeing partners like A Cure come through, having Jolene by our side and really providing that comprehensive support to our entire community, especially as we grow, has been wonderful to watch. And we've really come a long way with COVID. And you know, I have transitioned my kitchen into being like a studio because we want to keep that hands-on approach, and we want to make sure that we can still deliver nutrition education in a way that's thoughtful and in a way that's meaningful, but also in a way that's fun and approachable. And so we do things like this where we get you into our kitchen and allow you to just pretend like you're watching the Food Network while we cook and teach you how to make recipes, or allow you to cook along with us from your own kitchen. And so you can participate yourself. So we really have tried to think outside the box, especially at the start of COVID, so that we can still be effective in the kitchen and effective educators. And I really couldn't thank my partner in crime, Michelle, enough, because together we can really, I think, check off that box in terms of giving, you know, Sue talks so much about control and having a diagnosis of this and how much you lose control. And so we want food to be positive, and we want it to be a way that can give a little bit of control back. So let's get into our mocktail. And as I sort of move through, you know, there's a lot of things here that sort of touch on all of the educational pieces that we do when we talk about food and wellness and how healing they are. So you might be wondering, like, well, a mocktail is not really healthy, or could we be doing that? But, you know, this is a way to sort of bring everyone together, right? We're getting into the holiday season. And so being fun and being creative in the kitchen can look like a mocktail. And we're using seasonal ingredients, things like rosemary. We know that cookbook that you saw that will come in your care box. And if you're the lucky winner checking out social media tomorrow, that herbs and spices do so much more for us than add flavor. I mean, of course, I love rosemary this time of year, but so many of our herbs offer properties like being antibacterial, antimicrobial. They're filled with antioxidants. So, even when I'm using it to infuse something, or I'm using it as a garnish, or I'm just adding some flavor, that's actually taking it a step further and providing really nourishing support to whatever we're creating. So, we love working with seasonal ingredients. So to get started with our mocktail, the first thing I did, we like being creative in the kitchen. And one way to really make a mocktail fun is by infusing things. And one of the things I like to do is infuse syrups to add a little bit of natural sweetness. And that's what I did last night. And that's something that if you've never experimented with, or maybe you've seen a bartender do it, if you've been out or you've had a friend talk about it, it's a great way and it's super easy. Everyone can do it at home. So I made a rosemary syrup last night. I'll show you what this looks like. So you can see it's got this beautiful dark color. So the way that you make a simple syrup, and you can just keep this in your refrigerator, it will last forever. You'll use equal parts of sweetener. So you can use regular sugar, or I like using something like a good quality honey. And so I used 1 cup of honey, 1 cup of water. I put it into a small saucepan and I started adding seasonal flavorings. So I added a ton of rosemary because I want to infuse all of that beautiful flavor. I added some star anise. If you don't have that, it's not always readily available. If you have the Chinese 5-spice blend, star anise is the main ingredient in that blend. So you can throw a little bit of that in. And then I added some cloves. So in our saucepan, we've got everything coming together. We're heating it and then we're letting it simmer 10 to 12 minutes, and then you let it cool. I strain it, and here we have a seasonal infused simple syrup. And this is something that you can use anytime you're making a mocktail. It's impressive if you're entertaining this holiday season, or there's so much going on with COVID. So even if you just want to have a fancy night at home by yourself, we're totally promoters of that. This is a really way to sort of elevate what you're doing at home. So I'll be using a little bit of this, but again, I encourage you to try this on your own because it's so easy, and just keep it in a glass container in your fridge and you're good to go. So let's get into our cranberry rosemary spritzer. So the first thing I'm doing, I'm using any sort of stirring glass that you're using. And you don't need all these fancy bartending tools or whatever, but use whatever you have. I've got unsweetened cranberry juice. So again, we're seeing a lot of cranberry this time of year. So number one, we love seasonal. Number two, let's talk a little bit about the color that goes into our food. So we're seeing all of this dark red from these natural cranberries. And we're not just talking about cranberry sauce that maybe you had at Thanksgiving, but in these fresh cranberries, or when you're using just an unsweetened juice that maybe you're buying, not sweetened, nothing else other than straight from the fruit, you're getting these antioxidants. Remember, every color that's in our fruits and vegetables comes from a different antioxidant, including our herbs. And antioxidants are anti-inflammatory. And so Michelle and I talk a lot about how to get more color into what you're reaching for. And that is a way that you can feel good about your food choices, because you are really elevating everything you're bringing to the table or to your snacks or whatever you're making for yourself. So I've got 4 ounces of my unsweetened cranberry juice. Usually at this point, I've thrown at least something to drink across my counter, because by trade, I am not a bartender. So the fact that most of that got into my stirring glass is a miracle. We're off to a great start. Okay, 4 ounces. All right, I have my rosemary infused syrup here. So I'll use 1.5 ounces. It just sort of balances out the tartness from the cranberry. And it also provides that earthiness, that seasonal flavor with the rosemary that's part of it. And when you smell this, I get a little bit of clove, I get that star anise, I get that rosemary. It's just a really lovely complement. The next thing that I'll be grabbing is a little bit of ice. So pardon me, because I didn't want everything to melt before I went on. So here we go, grabbing a little bit of ice nearby. And I will add some into my glass just because I want to chill this. We'll give it a quick stir, just a little bit, just to chill everything. I love this. And this is simple enough that, you know, again, you can sort of throw this together and really be impressive. But, you know, it's really fun and festive. Okay. And then I've got a little bit of ginger beer. A splash, we'll do 2 ounces. This is carbonated, so you don't want to over stir. And again, we've got that bite of ginger from a really good quality ginger beer. And then I'm going to give a couple quick stirs because I don't want to lose that carbonation, but I want to sort of get everything together. And then I've got my glass. Frankly, you could use a rocks glass, you could use a wine glass, you can use your Unite for Her that came in your care box that keeps it nice and chilled. We love that. Use whatever you want. And then we'll just strain it. So you can use whatever you want here. I've just got a little mesh strainer and pour this over. I love this color because, again, you know, this time of year, the bright reds, they're really just so beautiful. So we have this first, but it wouldn't be complete without a little bit of garnish. And again, we're sort of leaning into seasonal here. So I'm using a slice of an apple. You could use a pear, you could use any kind of apple. I like to leave the skin on. We talk a lot about fiber and including lots of fruits and vegetables. We know our immune system starts in our gut. So eating and drinking in a way that supports our gut health is really, really important. And that includes not only a variety of really healthful plant-based foods, but that includes fiber. So I say leave the skin on of your garnish. Okay. Apple, and then we wouldn't want to miss out on the cranberry. We'll let this settle on. And then our final little touch, grab your favorite sprig of rosemary. That goes in. And here we have our cranberry rosemary spritzer. And I have to taste it because I have to let you know how it is. Wow, that's delicious. Yes, that is absolutely delicious. You get a little bit of tartness from the cranberry and you really get that undertone of rosemary from the syrup. It's really well balanced. So this is something fun that you can create this holiday season. You know, we talk so much also that food is so much more than just what you're putting in your body and what you're essentially putting in your mouth, but there is an experience to it. And we want you to enjoy the foods that you eat. We want you to feel good about it. And so even taking moments, and if you've had a stressful day, and creating something fun like this, and if it's just you at home and you're relaxing and this is special and you enjoy this moment and you enjoy this time, then that is a positive thing. And we want you to feel that way. So hopefully this is inspirational to you. You know, this is just a small part of the different facets of our nutrition program. But the reason that we've been able to grow and expand to not only do things like virtual teaching in our kitchen, but as Sue mentioned, partner with meal delivery, Sunbasket that delivers all across the country, able to provide grocery gift cards so that our community can buy their own healthy groceries, and then continue to just provide counseling and education is because we have partners like Dune Jewelry that allow us to raise funds and support our mission moving forward and can allow us to think outside the box so that we can continue to connect with our community even as we're nationwide. So again, hopefully you've enjoyed this. I know that we will have this recipe on our blog, but again, like we are here and we're sharing with you because of partners like Dune, and we are so thankful.
Holy cow, Erin, that was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I am definitely going to be trying that out for myself. As a former bartender, I know the syrups sound daunting, but they're really so much easier than
so easy, right? And they're so fun and fancy. And like this time of year, all of the beautiful flavors of it. Oh my gosh, you can be so creative.
Absolutely.
I'm glad I didn't know you were a bartender before, because I probably would have been a little bit more nervous since you're like a professional in this regard. So I feel like I'm thankful I got the thumbs up from you.
Oh, 2 thumbs way up. That sounds delicious. I want to try it. Maybe I'll make it for Christmas this year.
Love that.
And really just, I feel really fortunate to have spent these last few minutes with both you and Sue. Just thank you so much for sharing your story, sharing these tips and tricks, sharing that beautiful recipe. And please remember, today is the last day of our giving week. So jump on to dunejewelry.com, and 15% of every single purchase is going to go right back to helping these ladies continue the amazing work that they do with Unite for Her. Please continue to follow Dune Jewelry and follow Unite for Her. We are doing the giveaway starting tomorrow for the wellness box. And just thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
Our pleasure. What a fun afternoon. Erin, I'm totally making that cocktail.
Oh,
Mocktail.
it's so good. You'll love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And if you're looking for more information on Unite for Her, uniteforher.org is probably the simplest and easiest place to go. As well as if you're part of the Dune community and you want to reach out, please feel free to reach out to sandstyling@dunejewelry.com. I'm happy to help point you in the right direction. As Sue said before, sometimes it's hard to ask for help, but it really is the most important thing. So thank you so much. Get to support and Unite for Her by shopping at dunejewelry.com. Thank you so much, ladies.
You're welcome. Have a good afternoon.
You too.